friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sonnet, the owner and creator behind Sonnet's Garden Blooms, and in today's video we are doing a thrift flip. So I grabbed a few items out of my stash and we are flipping them in today's video. Well, out thrifting at Goodwill, I found this little boat. It was $5.99 and it was the perfect thing, I thought, for everyone in Wisconsin. Many of us own our own boats, and what inspired me today was back when I was a little girl, my grandpa and grandma had a rowboat and it was the color of Old 57. And I thought, you know what? That is my inspiration. It brings back a rush of memories of when I was a child up north at their cabin, rowing across the lake in their boat. So what I'm doing here is I am going to almost like dry brush this on. I just remember my grandpa and grandma's boat was really just worn and old looking, so it wasn't just pristine at all, and that's what I'm making this look like. So I want some of that wood to kind of pop through along with like the nails, how it's a bit rusty. So what I'm doing is, like I said, just dry brushing the DIY paint all over the entire outside and just on the seats and the very edges. On the inside, I'm going to leave it the natural wood. Now, with DIY paint, if you haven't used it before, it is a clay-based paint that can be reactivated with water. So it's an amazing paint for blending colors together, just a lot of artistry work on furniture pieces. So once I do this, it does need to be sealed, but before I do that, I want to add a few details to the piece. Next, I'm using the stamp set called Le Courier, and this is definitely one of my favorite stamps. I use it as my go-to to add details to the background of different pieces. And if you guys noticed the transfer called Elysium, the IOD sisters actually use it in the background of that transfer. So what many of the boats here in Wisconsin have names. They either put it on the very back or there's decoration on the sides of the boat. Because this is a shelf and it's going to be standing upright, it did not make sense for me to stamp it on the very back. So what I'm doing is I am going to stamp it on each side of the boat. I used IOD's black ink and I inked up the portion of the stamp that I wanted to use. I laid it down, held it in place, and then as you can see, I just gently rub over each of the letters or each of the areas that I put ink on, just to make sure that I had a really nice impression. I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side of the boat. Next, I'm going to take all the different articles and I'm going to just randomly stamp them on the inside, so on the floor. I think it would look really cool as the background as I set or display items on each of the shelves. So I am just going to randomly grab different articles and place them about just to try to fill that space and make it almost like a wallpaper on the background. And what I'm doing is like I said, just randomly grab one, make it, see if it will fit. And then even at one point, I take the very long article and I actually fold it to fit and then have a very long article in the center. And then I add a bunch of the little stamps here and there. I just really love how it gives it just added dimension on the back of the boat. Sometimes I'm using a piece of thin mount, and what I do is when you get a piece of thin mount, it is a very large piece. I like to keep one large piece if I'm stamping a very big item like a furniture piece. Otherwise, what I do is I take a second one and I cut it up into like a long strip for letters and then smaller chunks so that I can work on pieces like this, grab a piece of the article, put it on there. And then there were actually points where I couldn't even use the thin mount. So I just put the stamp on my hand, inked it up, and then I laid it down. You just have to be a little bit more careful when you do that and just make sure you get the best impression you can. When you have it on a thin mount, you have better control over your stamp. The last thing that you'll need to do is seal your DIY paint. Like I said earlier, if you haven't used DIY paint before, it can be reactivated with water. Here I'm using DIY's Big Top, and I am going to just apply one even coat over the entire piece. And the key is you want to load up your paintbrush and with a very light hand apply your top coat. Another way you can seal it is with any types of waxes. You can also, I've used polyacrylic, just some type of top coat to seal the actual clay-based paint. If you guys have been following me for a while, you'll know I love using background stamps on different items, whether they be small pieces or big furniture pieces. And two of my favorites, and I have said this from the very beginning, are Kindest Regards and Le Courier. You guys, there are so many applications for these two sets of stamps. Honestly, even before I started offering IOD, I had purchased Kindest Regards and I have used it on so many pieces. It is a beautiful font, and if you don't have Kindest Regards or Le Courier, you guys are missing out. So I just wanted to mention that these are two of my go-to sets of stamps when I'm upcycling, flipping items, and I think that after today's video and seeing how I used Le Courier, I think this one will be in your top faves as well. I showcased this project on a live like several months ago, but I wanted to talk about it on a video as well. So during my live, I was going to actually create the faux stone technique on these, and I thought it was going to look so cool. But one thing I do on my lives, guys, is I love to interact with you, so it's completely different than an edited video like this. So I always poll my audience or my viewers and ask them, what do you think I should do next? You know, how about this? How about that? And on this live, I actually was like, this is what I'm going to do. And then in the comments, a viewer said, have you used pennies from heaven? And that completely changed the course of how these transformed. So for starters, what I did is I used the color in DIY paint called Sandy Blonde. And this is the perfect like stony colored look if you were going to go with creating that faux stone. So I paint each of the pears with one coat of the Sandy Blonde. After that, I let it dry, and then I just touch up here and there if a little bit of the green still was peeping through. A pro tip for you guys is if you want to use a heat gun on these, be very, very careful. So I did use a heat gun on the smaller ones, and I think I left it heated a little bit too long, and there was some bubbling. I embraced that imperfection, and actually it looked pretty cool when I added the pennies from heaven, but these can melt is what I'm trying to say. So just be very careful when it comes time to drying them. Next, I'm grabbing pennies from heaven, and if you guys have yet to use this, this is a copper patina, and prior to the suggestion coming out that I should try this, I had it in my store, but I had not yet used it. And you guys, this is a beautiful copper patina, and it's so easy to use. So after I had the Sandy Blonde paint applied to all the pears, then I just go in and I basically dry brush this on. I don't want full coverage. I want that Sandy Blonde to kind of peep out under that copper color. And these look absolutely amazing and completely transform them. Now, the other suggestion that I received on that same live is, why don't you use that shipwrecked colored wax, because copper has that same type of patina. So what I did is I left all the larger pears just with the copper patina, and then on the smaller pears, I added a bit of the shipwrecked wax. Here is the shipwrecked DIY wax, and it is a beautiful like turquoise color, so it complements the pennies from heaven absolutely perfect. I only need to use a very small amount of this because of the shipwreck being
heavily pigmented. And I just take a waxing brush and I just brush all over just to give it a bit of that patina that copper receives in if it's out in the elements.
I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. It has been a crazy busy week. I made a post about it was crazy at the Bloomers headquarters, but honestly guys, it was. We were doing last minute prep for the Maker's Box, and for several days straight, all we did was pack boxes. And I just want them to look absolutely perfect for each and every one of you. So they will start officially shipping July 2nd. All the renewals are coming in, and there are a few spots left for the July box. So the link will be in the description below. But if you don't know, I am offering my own curated Maker's Box. And this is a monthly subscription. A couple things that you may want to know about it. It's not like you're locked in. It is month to month. So at any point, you can cancel your subscription, but I can guarantee you're not going to want to, because each and every month, what you're going to get in this box are exclusive items. You can't get these anywhere else. So Royce from Upcycled Decoupage Paper, she creates 2 exclusive papers each and every month for me, and we work together. I give her my vision, and then she goes to town creating. And you know, if you've been following Royce for a while, she is absolutely amazing. So she comes up with some of the best designs. I'm so excited for July and all the future months. I just actually got in-house yesterday the August papers and the September papers. So folding has officially started, and the prep work are ready for August. So that is one of the exclusive papers. The other is the Painted Photographer. If you guys don't follow her, head on over, give her some love as well. She is an amazing artist. She hand draws her designs. She then takes DIY paint and she paints the images, and then she goes in and she does her signature Connie lines on each and every one of her rice papers. Every month she has as well been creating 2 papers for my Maker's Box. And this month, you guys are gonna love it. Well, every month. And I already picked out the August papers as well. And then on top of that, I curate custom or colors from Fusion, 2 Fusion mineral paint colors, 2 DIY paint colors, and 1 Sweet Pickens milk paint. So then you have the colors are curated to the papers, and then you get to try some colors that you may never have tried before in the past. And everyone is loving the milk paint, you guys. Many of you have never tried milk paint, and Sweet Pickens is amazing. So if you want more details, they're in the description below. Now, next week is going to be super busy as well, because on July 2nd, I'm getting all the boxes out, and then it's the week of the 4th of July. So I will be going live on Monday, which is July 1st. And I do have a guest. I have Sandra from Midwest Charm. She's going to be my guest on Mondays live. And then there'll be no lives on Wednesday or Friday. But I'll be back on Monday again. And I'm having Debbie Frimmer from Elsie Lane Art Garage. She will be my guest on Monday, I'm sorry. And then Wednesday, I am going to do my live in the evening, and I am going to kick off on July 10th. I'm going to officially kick off my very first Whatnot sale. So I hope you guys can join me for that. I am looking into creating a calendar of events on my website. So we'll see if that is something that I can put out there so you guys can keep up with me. All right, well, you guys have yourselves a great weekend, and we will see you Monday. Bye.